US has launched fresh strikes on Iran, with the United States saying these fresh strikes have targeted Iranian forces. The strikes are an aim with, basically to secure the Strait of Hormuz, which has been shut by Iran. That's the claim that Iran has made. However, the United States says it's open. Iran has been held accountable for the attacks that have taken place on those commercial vessels at sea, is what the United States is saying. Rishabh, my colleague, joining us in order to get us details on this. Rishabh, another fresh strikes, another fresh attack by the United States, and this is basically to get the Strait of Hormuz opened. But the United States has been claiming that it's open, which the Iranian side, of course, has been refuting.
Well, exactly. The arguments are Iran says that we have shut down the Strait of Hormuz and it will only open once the US gives it an assurance that there won't be any further attack on Iran, and the Gulf states also stop aiding US campaign in Iran. But US say that the things are fine, and there are commercial ships who are plying in Strait of Hormuz in the designated route. So there are pictures that are coming in where Iran has attacked at least 2 ships, is what we are given to understand. One ship, MVS Galaxy, which had 11 Indian crew members, 10 of them have been rescued. One is still missing, is what we are given to understand. So the war is raging on. We have seen US holding at least 4 rounds of back-to-back attacks on Iran. There have been at least 400 to 500 locations where Iran have been struck by United States military, Air Force, as well as Navy for that matter. The report suggests that there are at least 20 warships that are moving towards Strait of Hormuz, to put a siege on Strait of Hormuz, a blockade sort of thing that US is planning for Strait of Hormuz. All this showcases that situation is not under control in Strait of Hormuz, and that's the reason that Iranian claims get more weight, because if things were fine and if Strait of Hormuz was working as planned, then there won't be a requirement of putting a siege or a blockade, or USS Abraham Lincoln was not required to be in Gulf of Oman for that matter. But that is happening, which showcases that yes, there are situations where US needs to take action, and that's the reason that Iran's claim is getting much more weight here. So we'll have to wait and see how things unfold. There have been back-to-back attacks from US and from Iran as well, while US have been bombing the southern side of Iran as well as the coastal areas of Iran. Iran in return has hit at Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Oman as well.
Well, Rishabh, stay on with us, because let's also talk about the role that Israel is playing in all of this. We have Netanyahu, the leader there, hailing Israel's campaign against Iran and saying that this is going to be Iran's terror axis that is now being crushed. Netanyahu there claiming that Israel has averted a major threat and Iran was very close to nuclear weapons that would have been used by the Iranian side, and that has now been thwarted by the Israeli side, and that is the Iranian nuclear threat. We have Rishabh back with us in order to know more on this, but first listen in to what Benjamin Netanyahu had to say.
אנחנו מרסקים בשיטתיות את ציר הרשע והטרור האיראני שניסה לקדם את התוכנית להשמדת ישראל באמצעות טבעת חנק של טרור שהוא פרס סביבנו. הרחקנו מעלינו סכנה קיומית מיידית, כולל הסכנה המיידית שנשקפה לנו מהחזקת נשק גרעיני בידי איראן.
Rishabh back with us. Rishabh, just when we thought that Netanyahu has been sidelined from the conversations and talks that took place between Iran and the US, and now here we have Netanyahu back in the scene there, claiming that Iran's nuclear ambitions have been thwarted by Israel.
Well, see, there are multiple reports coming in, Divya, which suggest that Israel was the one which went to Washington saying that Mossad has found out credible evidence where one could see that Iranian IRGC was trying to assassinate the US president, either in Switzerland or France, or for that matter in Turkey as well, where when the US president was present for NATO summit. And based on these intel inputs, the renewed attack on Iran has happened. So one can never put Israel out of this conflict. Israel is an integral part of this conflict. Just that as we are speaking, Israel is not directly engaging with Iran. Sources within the Israeli government suggest that we will only enter Iran and this conflict again if US wants us to do, or if Iran does some misadventure and try and attack directly to the territory of Israel, and that's the only time we will enter this whole conflict. As per our intelligence, Iran is not looking to hit us because they don't want a full-fledged war. This is something that reports within the government, sources within the Netanyahu government suggest. So now, if we want to say that Israel is out of this conflict, no, it is not. Was Israel out of conversation? No, there was always a back-channel discussion between Jerusalem and Washington happening. And one could see that on this conflict.
Let's just get you more breaking news, Rishabh. Stay on with us. We will come back to you on the latest that we have as far as the Iranian side. They're rejecting United Nations military confrontation term. Reactions were legitimate, is what Iran is saying. This was all in self-defense, urging nations not to host the United States attacks. Now, stop the United States from using your territory, is what Iran is saying, calling for the use of the term Persian Gulf. Iran has rejected the US claims on the talks with Muscat, and Iran urging the United Nations to hold the United States accountable. Rishabh, back with us. Rishabh, talk us through, Iran, they're slamming the US strikes as the UN Charter a violation, and saying that these attacks that have been launched and these sites that could be targeted, in fact, and, really slamming the United States there and asking other countries to do the same.
Well, what we're given to understand that it's been over 3 hours that the fourth round of attack on Iran is ongoing, and now Iran do understand that these attacks are not the way it was in the 40-day continued war or last 120 days when there was sporadic attacks on Iran. These are very well coordinated and precision attacks that is taking place. Ports are being attacked, lighthouses are being attacked, telecommunication towers are being attacked. There are reports that places closer to Bushehr nuclear plant have also been attacked. So Iran now says that these are against the charter of UN. You cannot be hitting the vital infrastructure of the country, and that's why these stories are coming in. What we are given to understand that in last 3 hours there have been attacks on Iran's southern side, and that is still ongoing, while Iran is hitting back at the Gulf countries.
Right, Rishabh, thank you so much for getting us those details. So this is a tense escalation that we're seeing between the United States and Iran. There have been multiple incidents that paint a very, very difficult picture that has now emerged. Iran has attacked ships in the Strait of Hormuz, prompting Trump to declare the vital waterway that remains open for navigation. That's what the US is saying. While an advisor to Mujtaba Khamenei delivered a defiant message amid the Hormuz crisis, declaring that the Strait of Hormuz is now shut for vessels. He emphasized that Hormuz is more important than atomic bombs and has in fact promised that Iran will protect the strait come what may. Meanwhile, Trump has told the United States media that Iran had agreed to a perfect deal before launching a drone, slamming Iran's leadership as sick. He confirmed that the United States bombed the hell out of Iran, asserted that the strait is open, and declared that Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz.